Oh my God, this show is like above and beyond. First, I was like, what is this about? Like, you get all these questions, right? Before knowing anything. But then as you watch, you're like, oh my God, like, how are they going to do this? Like, there's no way. I think that every time that you play with time in such an unapologetic manner, there is so much room for speculation, for wondering, what might happen, what is there to explore. When this was pitched to you, what was the first thing that came to mind?
Oh my gosh, so much. I mean, there were so many ways to kind of dive into the show and find something interesting about it. But for me, it was really this, I mean, I think the idea of the stubs was super exciting. And the ability that, this could also continue to grow outside of what we see this season. And to see how that is integrated throughout the show and possibly further into our future, that was something that I found really exciting and very new, that I hadn't really seen before. And on top of that, what I really loved about the characters was the fact that I was able to get to know Jack and have our relationship as brother and sister really grow throughout the show and have that be the anchor, that no matter how kind of far we got away from Clanton, it always felt like we could come back and that we'd be safe there.
What is that?
The future.
Just give me that.
I promise not to tell anyone. But you almost look happy.
It's a fascinating device, like this element of time travel through the transfer of data, you know what I mean? It's like, if there was ever going to be a possibility of time travel, then this is the closest thing to what that would be, you know what I mean?
You try and find the little bit of humanity as an actor for your character. You've got to find a little hook to put on. If you try and take the whole size of it, you get lost. You try and find something of what can I bring to it? I'm playing some horrible villain. What do I bring to it? Like what part of me can I put into that character?
You're part of this beautiful, enormous thing, and it's just finding your connection with that role and leaving everything else to everyone else.
Jonah, it's so good to see you. Every time that I see you, you have a new project in mind, a new surprise, and this is no exception.
Thank you. You're very kind, Alejandra, as usual. But I think the only thing we can be accused of taking credit for here is having good taste.
You can't help but want to know more, want to understand more, and I'm sure that happened to you too, Gary.
I love your energy is amazing. Like that's pretty much when management told me that like Jonah and Lisa had a new project, they wanted to speak to me about it. I was bugging. I was like, that's crazy. You're inside what we call a peripheral.
What do you mean?
You think this is a game, but it's real. It just hasn't happened yet.
I knew that the story of Flynn Fisher, it was so warm and evocative to me. The idea of a girl in her community yearning for a bigger life, yearning for adventure. It was so tangible. And so that was always the rooting heart of the show. And then this, call from London comes and changes her life. And there's something so classic in structure about that. But as the show evolved with Scott Smith and the writers on it who are so brilliant, and our incredible production designer and Vincenzo and costume, it all just grew from there.
And then it became a really beautiful organic process of development because we had time to work on the design and some of the underlying concepts so that by the time we got to production, it was really an evolved thing. And I think Jonathan and Lisa create an environment that encourages that.
When you don't know really what the future awaits, you are not only interested, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I want to know. But these characters are faced with the reality of having to come on board and just do what you need to do. How would you say that these characters challenge you? Not only in portraying the characters like you did, but also in believing the reality that they were submerged in.
It's reflective of the dilemma that we face in life, where we can see a version of the future down the road, and it's not necessarily the the brightest future for humanity. But like in the show, you know, there's an opportunity to take agency and to actually have an influence over what kind of Earth, what kind of humanity, what kind of society we're going to pass down to our kids, you know, and what we're going to have in the future. So that is really compelling.
Take what someone would see as a weakness that they could weaponize against you and actually use that as a roadmap to fix what could happen in front of you and maybe make a better world for everyone.
You've made this story very human, and I think that's something that everybody's going to be very grateful for.